Welcome back, everybody, to Tactics Ogre. We've reached Fidok Castle, which was, again, the ending of the neutral playthrough. So once we do this mission and the next one with Oz and Ozma in it, because Oz escaped in the last chapter instead of dying, so he will appear in the final battle with Ozma.
Denim of Goliath, is it? Are you ranked so bare that you must lead your armies yourself? Cut off the head and the body dies. Today will be your last.
And then we'll transition into chapter 4. Plans for chapter 4, just to get this out of the way, plans for chapter 4 is to we will revisit certain battles that we've already done before, but only insofar as if they're different than what we had previously done. So an example of that is I did not get the one sister of the 4 sisters because I passed the cutoff point where she's recruitable. And so I missed out on recruiting her. So we're going to make sure that we do recruit her on this playthrough this time through. It won't take very long for me to do that. In addition, we do need to recruit the one necromancer. Something with a C, I think. I'm very bad with names. Plus, you also have Syria, one of the sisters, and you have Kashua, B, and you have Sistina, C. A lot of C names in this game get me confused. So she's Nybeth's daughter. She is a necromancer, female necromancer. You have to have a certain level of influence with the Galgastani in order for her to be recruitable. So if you have a greater than 50% approval rating with the Galgastani, you can recruit her. Otherwise, she basically at the end of the conversation says she's got to find herself and will not join your party. So I'm going to make sure I have that in spades. And by in spades, I mean I'm going to make sure that if I need 50% approval rating, I'm going to make sure I have at least 52 or 54%. So in case going into that battle affects some of that percentage down a little bit, she still is in the recruitable range. But there are a couple battles that lead up to her recruiting, so including running into Devold, the half-man, half-undead, and his sister, who I've recruited in the neutral playthrough. So both of them are going to have their own missions that I have to do before recruiting her in her mission. A third mission, that is, so we'll show those. And then there'll be some missions we'll have to do, I guess, because I'm going to try to get the Lord class, which means I'm going to have to kill my sister. Even though I do, as you can see, I have Kashua here in my party. It's only because I've already recruited her and went back in time that I am able to keep her. In order to get, like I said, get the Lord class, I have to kill my sister. And then I will unlock the Lord class, which will be another very powerful class type that I'll have access to for the Undead Palace Berg thing. And then after that, I guess I don't know if I'll show any of this on camera, but I'll continue on and get the, I guess the bad ending or the neutral ending with, with Denim becoming the Lord and then ultimately getting killed or not killed or whatever. We'll have to take a look at that before I start down that path. And then I don't know if there's anything else. Oh, I also have to recruit the one pirate guy. I started recruiting him and then I missed out on one of his one of the things that you need to do to recruit him. So yeah, I'll be doing that. Some of that's going to get shown. I'm not sure all of it's going to get shown. And then, like I said, I'm going to skip any battle I've already done before. Because everything will be new from here on out. I mean, everything will be a repeat from here after I hit chapter 4. Everything's just going to be a repeat. Except for the new levels, obviously. Recruiting, what is it, Cassandra or whatever her name is. And there'll be a couple other things that aren't battles, but will just sort of be for recruiting purposes. And then after all that's said and done, like I said, I'll probably finish the game, you know, under Denim, and then we'll do lawful playthrough. And lawful playthrough will be up through... I'll have to check on some notes though. Lawful playthrough will be up through chapter 4, the beginning of chapter 4. And then that'll be that. I'll have all the characters recruited at that point, except for Ozma, who I'll have to get in chapter 4, but again, that'll basically finish out the rest of the storyline. I may just skip doing the ending with Denim and just jump back to the lawful playthrough after I unlock his Lord class. Or something to that extent. Some of that has to do with what you need to do to recruit the pirate. I don't know where his storyline check marks are, if you will. So, but sometime after that, I'll jump back. We'll do lawful playthrough, which is would be the combination of would be the entirety of Chaos, essentially, from the time you make the choice in Balma Musa all the way to the end of chapter 3, which I believe is, I don't know if it'll end up here as well at the gates here, but I have to imagine this will be the final level also for the lawful playthrough, because you'll be coming to these gates and we're gonna fight whoever. But I don't know, because things are different, you know, between playthroughs, particularly Law and Chaos, which I'll point out when we cover those episodes. I know I've said it before, golems are like... they're good, but I hate them. I hate them because they have this ability to lock up their... I don't know, I wouldn't call it body, but they have this ability to increase their defense, but they don't retaliate. but the defensive gain is so high that it's like, just like, I don't want to do 20 damage to him. I want to do 100 damage plus. So when you're doing 50% damage, it's like really annoying as hell because you're like a big blob of clay I can't get through. I mean, I get like, okay, you know, you're not going to be able to do 500 damage to everybody. You know, and some characters are going to have lots of HP, so, you know, swinging at him who's got 1300 HP, you know, doing 500 damage is, you know, a little more than a quarter of its health. Like, okay, I get it. You know, but in most cases, you're just swinging for 100. Annoying as hell. And they're like kind of like the worst versions of this because dragons you can use dragoons on to basically negate the, you know, dragon scales. You can use it to buff up your guys, and you can use it as weakness. So you combine all those things together, and a dragoon can just fucking devastate beasts and dragons. But golems don't fall under beast category; they fall under golem type. So the only thing that's good against golems is this, which is a sorcerer. And the sorcerer, of course, when he buffs the characters, it gives them doesn't give them like a 200%, you know, like double damage buff. It gives them like a 10-20% boost. And then the only other thing that they're good at is they have the ability to unlock the golems when they lock themselves down. They call golem key. So they're more annoying in the Palace of the Dead. I know I keep bringing the Palace of the Dead up, but I spent so much fucking time down there. I felt like I made progress. I made down like level 70 something. But you have to get down to level 100 to complete a full run of that stupid dungeon. There are a lot of weapons in the... I know I shouldn't complain. There's a lot of weapons in the game that have golem bane on them, or, you know, are good against golems. So it's not like you're left with no alternatives. But for the number of holy characters I've run into, i.e. angels, which is 0. I've run into 0 so far. I've run into more weapons that are good against angels than I've run into angels. I mean, by far. Like, unless there's a whole area in this game dedicated just strictly angel characters that you fight, I don't understand why I was unlocking weapons and armor that are good against angels, you know? I mean, from early in the game, you are unlocking weapons that are like, this is good against angels. It's like, I haven't fought one yet, unless you count, you know, Canopus, you know, which I think is more of like a human Hawkman than an angel. I don't know. Maybe I'm full of shit. I hate that this particular spell is like, it's stronger than the other spells. You know, I haven't run into any sort of upgrades to the, you know, level 3 stuff. I don't know if there's...
Pity those foolish enough to follow you, boy. Today they will learn the folly of a frontal assault. It will be too late to beg for your lives once the Dark Knights arrive.
Yeah, we're gonna ignore the fact that there's no, like, trebuchets in this game to fucking throw big old boulders and knock down your fucking walls, because they didn't need to program that into this game for obvious reasons. But like, you know, you talk about a frontal assault, all I could think of is like, yeah, if I lined up with trebuchets and, you know, catapults, maybe you'd have a slightly different story. I don't know. Here's a little peek behind the curtain. One time I had recorded a number of episodes back to back, like 8 hours worth, and that is not something I ever want to do again, because that was fucking stupid. Like, I just kind of got on like a roll, and I was just sort of playing and narrating and etc. And by the time I stopped recording, it had been like 8 hours, maybe a little less than that. It was less than that once I edited down some stuff that I cut for time. Like, for instance, anytime you see me do prep, you'll see me walk into the battle, then there'll be a cut, and then the battle will start after I've made all my preparations. And that's mainly because sometimes I'm like thinking, and I'm trying to like put together the right combination of weapons and elemental types to try to, you know, help me through the battle. So like, you know, if the team is primarily water based, I don't want to bring in a bunch of fire characters. And
where could the Dark Knights be? Surely they've not forsaken us.
They have.
I don't see any Dark Knights riding from the castle. The rift between
One of
two
the
forces
things
must be wide.
that we learn in the Chaos playthrough is that, well, in the neutral playthrough, it appears that the Dark Knights double cross the Bakram. In the Chaos playthrough, it's very obvious that the Hierophant is double crossing the Dark Knights to the point that he's willing to take advantage of Vice and basically try to use him to eliminate all of his enemies, which at this point with the Gagastani basically knocked out of the war and they joined with the Wallister. You can get rid of the Duke. You get rid of Lancelot of the Dark Knights of Zenobia. You've knocked out the other two major factions in this war, and the hope is to clean up the remnants, the remnants of the rebellion after that, and you would take full, undivided control of the island. You wouldn't be beholden to Lotus for their help in securing the island by removing alleged. I don't. I mean, as they say, hindsight's 20/20. So killing Lancelot, Tartaros, I don't know if that would end up in the situation that the Hierophant actually thinks it's going to. But sort of a long story short, you have the leader of the resistance, which is the Duke. You have Vice kill him. You have the leader of the Lodician. He's not the leader of the Empire, but he is the leader of that division that has been sent to the continent, the island, whatever you want to call this place. And you eliminate him, and there's a possibility that between the other members of the Dark Knights that they begin to betray each other, or they leave and go back or whatever, and that he's left to rule this on his own. It makes sense because, you know, you're using other people to do your dirty work, you know. And then Vice, on the other hand, probably thinks, you know, the Duke has betrayed him because he wanted to allow Denim back into the resistance, despite the fact that he is in Vice's mind a traitor to their cause, you know, for not taking part in the slaughter at Baba Musa. So, plus he's jealous in the chaos side of things. He's jealous of Denim because he's been trying to get his sister Kashua's attention, and every time he does something nice for her, she just gives it to Denim. So, not that she only has eyes for Denim, because that kind of, even though they're not related by blood, that kind of gets into that incesty thing. Even if they're not blood brother, blood sister, they treat each other like brother and sister. So he's jealous of Denim for a number of different reasons. And so, at least on the chaos side of things, his worst judgments come out for pretty much everything. You know, obviously in the neutral playthrough, he leaves the resistance, ends up basically being a man hunted on the run with no allies, at least as far as we can tell from the storyline, and then ultimately gets injured at some point and manages to finish off the Duke before he dies. In this version, he does kill the Duke as well, but he ends up failing in his mission to kill Lancelot, and in doing so, barely survives with his life, but he's very much a man on his heels now. And yeah. So he ultimately failed his big goal, which is to take out both leaders of both factions. So we're getting close to finishing him off here. Don't worry. It's just the fact that he's kind of hanging out up by the gate that makes him kind of, I wouldn't say dangerous, but kind of makes this battle go on longer than it should. It's smart in terms of, if you're the leader of a army, you're not going to jump straight in the middle of battle. You know, you're the I don't know, I'm not gonna say general, but if you're like a higher up member of the army, you know, you're not gonna jump to the front battle lines and fight every battle from the front lines. You know, you need to be there for tactical purposes. You can still fight, yes, but you know, your intelligence, your importance is more, quote unquote, I don't know in today's day and age, but back then, you know, your leadership's more important than you need to be there on the front lines. A lot of these enemy characters seem to wait a couple turns, and then they come, and then they attack you. when your army is supposedly weaker. And sometimes that works. In this case, it's not working because I'm way too powerful. Bye-bye. Well, not quite. He's going to attempt to heal. I will counter with my... counter with this spell to kill off the healer. And then I will do my axe to your face style. Where I take the axe or sword of one of the characters up on the rampart now, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it into his body, hence causing loss of blood and or dismemberment. Or we could just kill him with a spell, I guess. I didn't think I'd get this close. And I couldn't. Never mind. Here's one of my white knights is going to do the finisher. Hello, sir. How would you like to do this? 800 damage. Overkill.
If we have failed, then there is...
That is true. There is no stopping me now. I'm going to march through the gates here, and we're going to go fight Oz and Ozma. And that'll be the end of chapter 4. So, there is no stopping me now. Sorry.